I'm Tom Soja.
I'm Jacob Martin.
I'm Yash Sharma.
This is our design phase 2 of our physics demonstration.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the project management and an update on that. We're going to go through the intellectual property search that we conducted to help finalize and figure out what we should and should not include in our final design. We're going to go through the concept generation and selection process and talk a little bit more about how we finalized the things that we did decide to go run with. And we're going to talk about the failure modes and effect analysis that we did on the project to fine-tune those kinks that we had and make sure that everything works perfectly when we do come up with our final product. And we're going to talk about the economic investment proposals that we plan to submit to VTAPs and hopefully get approval. So an update on the Gantt chart. You will see here that all of these bars in black are the completion rates. You will see that the ones with the check marks are completed parts of the project. And we have encountered some slippage in the project architecture phase, and we're currently in the industrial design and design for manufacture phase. We are confident that we'll make this up in the prototyping phase, but we do need to watch out for that. And here's a DSM of our project. Again, you will see that the shades of these numbers depict how much the task has been completed. So the darkest is most 100% complete, and the lightest is not quite. A thing to point out here is the only two couple tasks we had were industrial design and design for manufacture. And while we do realize that all tasks require iterating through the design, we believe that these two are the most closely related, and this is where most of our iterations can happen without having a negative effect on our design. We hope that we will be able to present the product by the 2nd of May, and according to the Gantt chart of the DSM, we're good for that.
Now we're going to talk about the intellectual property phase of our research, and basically this was done to reveal limitations on our product due to active patents. And the only limitation that we found was that ping pong balls cannot be used in conjunction with magnets of radio frequency. And we also used expired patents to generate new ideas that we couldn't actually think of ourselves, and this added the ideas of adding the ability to customize the BRG Ferris wheel height, as well as adding music to the Ferris wheel to give it sort of a amusement park feel. And this is the table talking about all of those. We have the marble run game, the interactive challenge game system and methods, the enclosed Ferris wheel toy, the ball catcher and thrower, and the tube toy method.
So now we're going to talk about the concept generation and screening process of the product after we have completed the intellectual property phase. And so from that, we took the 635 method of coming up with possible solutions for each subfunction and condensed them into a concept combination table, which we have here, where for the receiving ball, we listed a small ramp and a collision with the first ball and second ball, and then a curved tube for receiving the ball. And then to add energy, we had the main functions as Ferris wheel, lead screw, and then a controlled release of a weight, so like a pulley system. And then finally for our exit ball, we came up with a collision, funnel to the exit, and then fan blowing the ball out. And so from here we have pictures that mostly represent some of the combinations that we could draw and come up with as a solution. And so from those pictures and other combinations that we came up with, we have our list right over here, and then criteria that we came up with that we used for the screening process to help decide on which concept we wanted to select. From that process, we came up with the final solution, which was a curved tube, a Ferris wheel, and a funnel.
Now we're going to talk about the failure modes and effects analysis aspect of the project. And this was done on a non-functional product prototype in order to reveal the largest risks for our actual product. And as you can see here, the largest risk came with the Ferris wheel pickup and release of the ping pong ball. We had a lot of issues with actually picking up the ping pong ball, getting it to rotate, and then getting to release on the time in which we wanted to release. And a solution for the final project is going to be create a pickup platform, as well as using the axis of rotation to tip the bucket over so that it can fall into the funnel. And the moderate risks involve the Ferris wheel rotation misalignment, and we're going to glue the Ferris wheel sides to the axis in order to make sure it does not misalign with itself. And also the ball function, or the ball does not make it through the entrance tube in the beginning. And to ensure that this does not happen, we're going to perform trials to assure that when the tube is angled, it is angled correctly and has a 100% success rate. And our third moderate risk was the funnel doesn't catch the ball after the ball is released. And the solution to that is we're going to raise the Ferris wheel and place the funnel underneath it so it'll have nowhere else to fall but into the funnel. And this is basically just a scoring table of how we came up with these risks. And as you can see, the bucket ball pickup and bucket ball release are the two highest. And then you have the moderate funnel catch, Ferris wheel function, and tube ramp.
So this is a summary of the economic plan that we intend to submit to VTEPs and hopefully have their approval. You will see that this is actually the final cash flow diagram that we came up with. That was an interim cash flow diagram that involved every single payment and all the expenditures over every single quarter. What we plan to ask VTEPs for is 3 big payments, one at the start of the project, one year into the project, and the last one 2 years into the project. This will and should account for all of the costs incurred during the first year, and hopefully with our income coming in, we should make a net profit, which should encourage them to give us a little bit more money starting the second year. You will notice that there's a peak at the end of every year, and that's because we intend to aggressively market our product, and we've had this financial year placed or organized such that the year ends when the school year is about to begin, and that we hope is when schools are usually hoping to replace all of their old products and buy new ones. We also hope that the time in between is filled in by secondary markets such as retail stores and online sales. So in conclusion, we're still on time to finish the project by the 2nd of May. We incurred some slippage, but we're confident that we can make that up in the prototyping stage. The intellectual property search helped us finalize what we could and could not do with our design, and then we used those ideas in using the concept generation and selection tables, and came up with the final solution of a curved tube that leads to a Ferris wheel, that leads to a funnel that lets the ball exit. We used FMEA to figure out where the design was most likely to fail, and then came up with solutions to fix those failure points. And using the proposed project that we plan to submit to VTEPs, we're confident that we will get approval for it because it shows a present worth of $19.27 thousand, and we're confident that that's a profitable investment for the company.
Take 3.